Hello, guys. Welcome to episode two. First episode with a guest. The first of many guests. He's the man, the myth, the legend. What do I even call you? Okay, I'm not used to calling you Tony. Let's call you Tony. It sounds so weird, but
Tony is my
I'll call you
is
Tony.
my government name. But yeah,
This is Tony Ayemoh. I'll let you introduce yourself. He's an accountant. I know that much. He's a co-host of a show. But I'll let you go in and talk about it yourself.
oh man, thank you so much, man. The intro you gave me is already perfect, man. The man, the myth, the legend, the best. I mean, but yeah, what can I say? I'm an accountant. I'm based in Nigeria. I'm also a YouTuber. And I have a show on YouTube that we basically drink alcohol and talk about alcohol. So yeah, I'm basically living my best life. So yeah, man, I'm glad to be
Wonderful.
here. And another twist is that we're namesakes, right?
Yes, we are halfway.
And childhood friends.
Osilama and you are Osigbemi, right?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
from the same place. This is my OG from a long time ago, so I'm glad to be here, man.
Great to have you. Great to have you. So, what's the name of your show again? The short
The
talk, right?
short talk, yes, on YouTube. You can check us by the short talk. The channel name is the Booze Lovers Guide. So
You
yeah,
know, that was confusing me for the longest time because I saw it on your page and I was like, is it two different shows? How is it? How what are the odds that you're on two different shows that are about
okay,
alcohol? I hope you guys
okay.
are.
Okay, let me demystify that now because you're not actually the first person. So the channel itself is called Booze Lovers Guide. So it's like
Okay.
basically if you love booze, then you should be here, that kind of thing. But
All
one of
right.
the shows, because the channel has a bunch of shows, yeah. But our
Oh,
marquee
okay.
show, like our main show, where all the hosts are
The short
involved,
talk.
is the Short Talk, yeah. But we have a lot other shows that
Okay. Okay.
coming up. So we have a cooking alcohol show, booze recipes, where we cook stuff with alcohol. We have a show where we review restaurants in
Wonderful.
Lagos. We have a show where we just play alcohol games. So like we have different shows like under the same channel, the Booze Lovers Guys
Okay.
channel. But the Short Talk is the only show that like really unites all the hosts because we have four different hosts
Yeah.
and brings all of us and
Okay.
talk to like celebrities, we talk to like our friends, we talk to like and we do everything while taking shots. Hence the name the short talk.
I love that show. I love to be on that. I love to be on that show. Like when I saw it, I was like,
Bro,
wow, I love this. I
funny
love
enough,
this idea. Like who came up with this?
I didn't even I was like, I'm going to have you on. I didn't even know you were into content creation actually. I was gonna have you on because I was drafting like the list of people I wanted to have on the show. And I didn't even know you were into content. I was like, Kennedy looks like will have something to look like someone that has something to say.
There's YouTube, you have alcohol, like what else do I need? As long as you have some single malt
Bro,
whiskey, what else do I need?
I know the funniest
And yeah, go on.
the funniest part is your sister Melissa. Yeah, she actually before I was gonna reach you, she came to reach me like she was like, I want to be on your show. And can we can we host it up? And I'm like, are you old enough to drink yet?
In which country? It depends on which country. But I mean, that makes me feel better. I was a little bit worried. Like I was like, why is this guy a host of two shows based on alcohol? Like what's going on?
I mean, it was a struggle, especially for my mom, because she was like, she had to realize two culture there are two culture shocks involved. First of all, the fact that I drink alcohol. I mean, she knows, but she didn't think like okay, I'll drink it enough to make it 18, like to make it something I will like put myself in front of as an ambassador. You get that was the first
Yeah,
culture shock. Then also the fact that I was switching from accounting, yeah, to being like a content creator. It's not like a switch because I'm doing both of them at the same time. But yeah, she was
yeah.
just like, what the hell is happening over here? So yeah, man. But man, you guys should really check it out. The show on YouTube is really nice too.
Definitely. You guys should definitely go check it out. Like I was looking through some of the videos and it already looked so fun.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
Yeah, go on, go on.
And the funniest thing is the best part, because we have 5 episodes out now, and those were like the learning episodes. So the season is 10 episodes. The next 5 episodes are crazy because we've shot them already. They are they
Oh
are
yeah.
they are insane. We have a bartender coming on. We have like
Okay.
we have two major, I won't call them celebrities, but like local Nigerian influencers coming on.
Jesus
So
Christ, how you just demote them from celebrities to local influencers? I
look,
hope they're not going to listen to this.
well, well. I mean, the celebrity title gets thrown around easily,
That's true. That's
and even they would agree that they are not like on the level of celebrity, but they are very wonderful people. I was glad to have them on my show, and they're like people I could say that, okay, man, okay, like this is actually someone that knows his stuff. You get, like, well, in whatever field they are doing. So
yeah.
like I really can't wait for you two guys to see it. And even the ones that are out already, you should go check it out. We have a fun episode on beer that literally just played games throughout. We played beer pong. We played what's that game involves beer again? I can't even remember. It has been so long now.
Did you guys play Flip the Cup?
Fill the cup.
Yeah.
No, I don't think we played that. We played this other game.
Yeah, you
Guess.
should. You should check that one out.
Fill the cup. Fill the cup. Is it?
No,
Remind.
not fill the cup. It's called Flip the Cup.
Oh, I
So it's
know flip
like
the cup. I know flip the cup.
you.
I know
Yeah,
flip.
yeah. Okay.
I don't flip the cup. We even consider playing it, but we're just like it might be messy. That's one of the decision. And we're looking at the entertainment
Oh, okay.
in terms of the thrill that it's offered to our audience. So yeah, audience, we're always thinking of you guys.
Well, that's all great. That's all great. So, I'm sure you remember from the description, or even like if you listen to the first episodes. Basically the idea behind my show is to why I called it the Aspiring Polymath. It's more or less. It's not about perfection. It's about basically I want to interview people that are into a diverse range of things. Like, for instance, you're an accountant, you're a content creator. Into IT, I'm doing this content creation. I'm also into stuff like kickboxing or wrestling. It's just a bunch of random stuff. Like, I'm gonna be shooting another. Well, not shooting because there's no video, but I'm gonna be recording another episode tomorrow with another friend of mine. He's a software developer by day. He's also into content creation. He likes to model.
And it's Batman
He's
by night.
he does day trading. Like, it's just a whole. It's
It's
like this
crazy,
is
man.
one person.
It's
So
crazy
those are the kind of individuals I want to get on and get. So you're like a good model
for the for
individual
the
for
girl.
that.
Okay, I like that. I like the thought of that. I like the sound of that. Although I'm worried though, how many of us are on the planet Earth? How many guests are you gonna find that are putting their heads in
Yeah,
so many different buckets?
yeah, there are more people than you would think, and I mean, it doesn't have to be like 5 or 10 different things you're doing. You could be doing three things and be like really really good at those three
True,
things.
true, true.
So, the idea basically is to like, at least the idea behind Polymathy basically is to build your core things that you're really good at, core fields you're really good at. And then, I mean, there are different ways to go about it, but that's one way. Build core things you're really good at, and then add things over time slowly. So there are some people that do two things and they're really, really good at those two things. Like, they're like top 20% in the world at those two things. So that's comparable, at least, if not better, than somebody that does 10 things and is
Yep,
maybe top 50.
yep.
So there are lots of people out there. You'd be surprised. Like, I know I have lots of friends who are like nurses, and maybe they have a cooking business on the side, and they also do content creation. Like, there's, especially our generation, it's like nobody's satisfied with
I know,
just
right?
going to work and coming back.
Generation. I know, right? I mean, many of us are just like we're so interested in a diverse range of things, and I really like that. Like you really meet someone and present them with an opportunity, and they're like, I don't want to do that. Everybody's interested. Everybody.
Yeah, and you have Mark Zuckerberg to blame for that. Feel like that is where it started from. I think from, I mean, although I've always been interested in lots of things, where that
Mhm.
desire came from really is people like Mark Zuckerberg. Like, when you heard what? Like, this guy, Like, did this guy just started this in his dorm room? Are you kidding? Are you kidding me? Like, that's I didn't feel like that stories like that is where stuff like that comes from.
But you know the funniest thing though, I was watching a video on YouTube the other day, and they argued that that approach to life is actually wrong. Like
In some ways, yes.
like that approach of
In some ways,
wanting
yes.
to do so many things at the same time, it's actually the wrong way of approaching life. Because at the end of the day, the way they explained it was they were like, at the end of the day, if you put if you spread out your energy, because your energy is finite, right? It's not unlimited. So if you spread out
Mhm.
your energy into doing 10 different things, the result you accomplish is going to be less than if you just did spread out your energy maybe into two different things and gave 110% in both. Did you get that?
It, yeah, the thing is, I feel like there are two schools of thought on that issue, which is really funny because before I recorded the first episode, like when I was still thinking of the idea of doing this, I listened to audiobooks a lot. I don't know if you knew that. You probably didn't know that,
I didn't know that.
but I listened to this book. I think it's called Polymath. Let me look through
What
my
app do you use
library
for
real
your
quick without
audio?
wasting too much time. I use Audible.
Okay, shout
Yeah,
out to
so the book
Audible.
is
I
called
guess I'm
Polymath. It's by Yeah, hopefully they sponsor me. The book is called Polymath by Peter Hollins, and before I read the book or before I listened to the book, I held a similar belief as to what you just said. Like, in order to get really good at something, you need to narrow down and do one or two things at the same time, or no more than one or two, in order to get really good. But now, this was almost 2 months ago that I listened to this book. So don't even quote me at all. I'm definitely gonna listen to it again. I listen, but when I read books like this, I usually go over them at least a second time. So he was suggesting that a lot of these people who have succeeded at polymathy, who are polymaths, a lot of them did not narrow themselves down to one thing. They did multiple things. Maybe not 10, maybe not as many as 10, but maybe
okay.
five. They would do
Okay.
five things and they were able to manage their time enough to be very proficient at those five things. Maybe not always the
Oh,
best in the
oh,
world, but they were able
okay.
to manage their time enough to do that. What even blew my mind is something else that he said, and I think all of us know this, but we don't really think about it. Is that in the past, most people were polymaths. Most people were not people that, okay, I'm an accountant. All I do is I go to work as an accountant. I go 9 to 5 and I come back.
Are you sure
Most people
though?
had
Are you sure
most people
though?
had most people had to do not polymath in the sense like they were excellent at it, but most people did multiple things. Like if you lived in like, I don't know, 1500 or
Okay,
something,
okay,
maybe
I
not
get what you're saying.
maybe
I
not
get
in
what
Europe.
you're saying.
Yeah.
I get
You
what
can't just be you can't just be a farmer and all you do is farm.
I mean.
It's not possible. Like there are too many things you have to do.
An example
You,
is actually Da Vinci. Da Vinci was an
David is
architect,
even an extreme example.
a
He's an
lawyer,
extreme
a
He's
doctor.
an extreme example. I don't know if you saw if you look at my art for the podcast.
Okay.
I know I told you that
I
the
saw the
guy on
art.
the
It
left
was dope.
is
The art is fucking
representing.
dope. Where did you get that?
Yeah, the artist did a great job. I got an artist on Fiverr, and basically it's like, I shit you not, like I was sleeping and I had a dream about the concepts for that.
Whoa, that is
I've been
where
thinking
the best
about it.
dreams come.
Like,
Where the best
yeah, I was thinking
ideas
about it
come.
already, but I wasn't really sure how to do it. And I had a dream, and before it disappeared, I just wrote it down somewhere. And as I was talking to the artist, I fleshed it out more. I just got an artist on Fiverr, and I was talking to her like, "This is what I want to do, and this is how I want it to look." And she was like, "Okay, let me do a sketch, and I'll show you." So the guy on the left is actually Imhotep, like I told you before,
Okay.
and the guy on the right is actually a what do I call it? It's a drawing, or it's a work of art that Da Vinci worked on. It's called the Vitruvian Man. So
Yeah.
that's the one on the right is actually supposed to be representing Da Vinci, even though it's not of him.
Okay.
But yeah, so Da Vinci is he's an extreme. Like that's not even what I'm talking about. Like those guys are outliers. People like Da Vinci and Imhotep. Imhotep is even a lot more impressive than Da Vinci. Like you'll be shocked. It's hard to find somebody that's more impressive than Da Vinci, but
Are you serious? Da
you'll be
Vinci is my
shocked. You'll
hero.
be shocked.
You're breaking my.
Like he was like a prime minister, basically the equivalent of prime minister in Egypt. He
Mhm.
was an engineer, like he built pyramids.
Yeah.
He was a physician. Like not just he was a physician, he was the physician. Like he
Oh,
was the guy. He was the guy. He was curing things in that they didn't even know existed in Europe yet at
oh,
the time. Like
oh,
Greeks were coming to Egypt to learn from
oh.
people like him before Greece even became the Greece that you know today. Like when that's just three things. Like he did a lot more things that I don't even remember.
And what did you call
He
his
was
name?
mentioned in the book.
Imhotep.
His name is Imhotep, like Imhotep.
Okay. I
He did
yeah, I've seen him.
a
Architect.
lot of things.
That's crazy.
But yeah, I guess
I'm
he was an
actually just
architect.
hearing
So,
about him.
so he was ridiculous. He was into a lot of things.
I mean, this goes back to the point where because when you mentioned it though, like when you mentioned that back in the day, a lot of people were more diverse and like put their hands into different. I was thinking about it, but you know where the problem really came was when this term division of labor was invented,
Exactly.
and
That's a wonderful. I'm glad you mentioned that.
then
I'm glad you mentioned
specialization came in and the industrial age,
exactly.
and that was
That
the
was
beginning of our problems. That was
e-
when okay, you go be an architect, go study architecture for the rest of it and be perfect in it and excel and be the most bring out the most of architecture you can
exactly.
and then die a miserable death. Like that was
That was touched on in the book.
but the reward for that was not for the individual. It was for the entity that the individual was
Exactly.
gonna work for. You get?
Exactly. I won't say that it was a. I will not say that it was a beginning of problems, so to
Yes, because it
speak.
helped
I would say, yeah, I would say it served its purpose. It served its purpose for that period in time, and we're in another period in time now where we don't necessarily have to live that way anymore. And when I was saying like people back in the day, I'm not even talking about the Imhoteps and the Da Vinci's. Like those, like I said, those are outliers
those
on
are
the street.
outliers, of course.
I'm talking about the average person. The average person, I mean, you might not be like back then. You could not be like maybe not a commercial farmer. I mean, but you could be like a subsistence farmer. You would have some crops that would feed you. You would make clothes for your children. You
I
would
get it. I get
hunt.
it.
You would like all kinds of things, and you have to be at least proficient at all those things in order to actually live.
Still get like you know you can find you can like this topic is I know this is not what we plan to discuss, but this topic is so fascinating because it's so funny how it has the this specialization this specialization instinct, this division of labor mantra, it has seeped down into our education system that
Yeah,
the average I don't know the age to use now, maybe 15-year old now, especially in this part of the world, especially in Nigeria. You say you're a scientist, yeah, but I think this applies everywhere. But you're a scientist. You don't know anything about managing money. You don't know anything about art. Do you understand?
yeah.
So like, and some of these things are like relevant life skills that you need them to survive. You get?
If you think about it, it's
When
odd. It's very odd.
when you leave, it's very, very odd. And when you leave the school system, you are basically useless. So it's more like the school system is trying to make you. That's why a lot of people don't believe in like education anymore, like Western education. People some people are now advocating to like educate their kids by themselves from home. You get, which is something
Yeah,
I might even look at, but I don't know. And if you check it, most of the like I read Einstein's profile recently, like a month ago.
yeah. He's another one.
Einstein is a crazy guy, and
He's another one.
Einstein and most of the prominent scholars they challenge
The
the
status quo.
the status quo, the educational system. They were like, this is messed up. Why are we doing like this? Like, why are all of us being forced to learn at the same pace? Do you understand? Einstein had already cracked the whole calculus shit at the age of like 12. You get, and it was like, you guys are slowing me down in class. Like, I should be doing other shit now. I should be learning other shit now, but like, I have to like be on the same pace as you. And then you guys are not teaching me other things I need, you understand, to like function
Yeah,
in other areas of my life, you understand. So like, so all this stuff is really, so that's like a lot of these conspiracy theories are like, okay, maybe the government is trying to do it purposely, but I don't know, I don't think the government is that.
I would go as far as to say that. I would say it's more like the higher you go into stuff like government and management,
Mm-hmm.
the more people start to think rigidly. Like even people who were once open minded, when they start going into stuff like management and they start having to deal with the reality. I don't want to say the reality of things because
Being result
that that yeah, exactly. That's a better way to put
driven.
it. Being results driven,
Mm-hmm.
they start to really get smaller and smaller in their thinking,
Yeah,
and
their
they
scope.
think more one track.
It's
So I
crazy.
wouldn't even say that they're trying to do it on purpose. It's just I think division of
Exactly.
labor
I agree with you.
specialization was not a bad thing. Like it definitely served its purpose. It had its purpose. We can still specialize. I mean, being a polymath doesn't stop you from specializing. Like I'll definitely say Einstein was a physicist before anything else,
Yes, yes, I agree. I agree.
but he was also a polymath. Newton is a little bit harder to put in one category, but he was a physicist or mathematician before anything else. But he was also a polymath. Like he was
Mm-hmm.
involved in a whole bunch of things. He
Mm-hmm.
was heavily involved in theology, but a lot of people don't know that actually. Heavily involved in theology. So there's still room for specialization in here. You just don't have to lock yourself in a box and say this is who I am and I'm nothing else.
I
And
feel like
I've actually never been able to do that. That's the interesting thing. And I
what do you
think
mean
a
by
lot of
that?
people are like that.
What do you mean by
I mean, I've never been able to just say I do this one thing and I'm not gonna do anything else. Like I've always been interested in physics, now in IT, but I've always loved history also.
you
I've
know
always liked
history is
music
fascinating.
also.
History is fascinating, and funny enough, I just took like particular interest in like Nigerian history, like
Mm. Like Nigerian history, like history of the country or history of the
history of
region
the country,
in
like
general.
not even just the country, like back to our origins, like back
Mm.
to how
That's the part that really interests
back
me.
to the great, like it's really fascinating. Back to the great Oyo Kingdom, the great Benin Kingdom.
A lot of people don't know anything about
It is
pre-colonial
crazy, man.
history. A lot of
It
Nigerians know
like
nothing.
it is crazy how much of our history is buried. Like I'm here like how have I functioned or how have we as a collective society functioned with this low level of like historical recognition? Like it is crazy. So like I've really taken interest in it, and even after even the post-colonial era, even like the military rule and the handover of power from the whites to the blacks to us. Sorry, I said the blacks. The handover of these you black Americans that cause this nonsense term blacks. So because you're technically a black American now. So
They don't like being called blacks here either.
so yeah, like the handover of power and even like the crazy like game of politics that has been going on since 1960 to now. Like everything is so fascinating. And funniest part is we were not taught or we were not like at least even giving proper historical facts or summaries about all these things.
Yeah,
And we've managed to
they did,
exist as a society till now.
but it's a problem. It's a problem. Like it's part of the reason why there is no cultural identity
Yep.
in Nigeria, really. First of all, there's no identity as one nation. I've always kind of said, like, there's no such thing as, to me, anyways, in my opinion,
What does
there's
it
no such
mean?
thing as a Nigerian identity.
Thank you. What does
Like,
it mean to be a Nigerian?
there are a bunch of different identities tied into one.
Osi,
There's no such
Osi,
identity. There's no such one thing.
Osi. What does it mean to be a Nigerian?
I don't know. I can't tell you. That's the thing. Like Nigerians come together when it's like, okay, it's time
Think
for
about it.
World Cup or nation
Yeah.
World Cup or Nations Cup. Everybody will, at that point, that's the single one point where every Nigerian is under the same banner. When even these days, because they're not doing so well anymore. These days it's
Mhm.
not even that good.
We don't care
But
anymore.
I
We
remember back
understand.
in the day when I was a kid, when we were kids, I guess, when Nigeria is in the Nations Cup, they're
Oh my
playing Tunisia or
god, it was
whatever.
crazy, man.
That's the one time in the year
It was
ever
crazy, man.
when the whole country is actually one.
And it always
Like
ends
that's
in
the
what?
closest.
It always ends
That's
in
it.
tears, man.
That's the closest they ever come. Like we, the closest we ever come to being one whole country.
It
But
always ended in tears, man. It's always did.
Jesus, I don't even know how we.
we
Okay, we've gone way, way, way off
we
course.
all need therapy if you really think about it.
I'm not even talking about Nigeria. I'm talking about us. Like,
Oh,
this,
oh,
can
oh, oh,
you
oh, 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 us, right?
believe it or not? The topic for today was supposed to be music and activism in music, the history of music. I don't know how we got to
I mean, we're getting
talking about
there. We're
Nigeria.
getting there.
I mean, I guess it's a nice flow. But anyways, before we go too far, let me finish what I was even saying about this book. What was I even saying about the book?
The
But
polymath.
yeah, the polymath, Peter Hollins, he went into basically described a lot of things about polymathy, how back in the day, most people were involved in multiple fields and were proficient in multiple fields, not just involved. Not like today where somebody's like, "Oh, I fish," and they go fishing like once every 2 years. No, like they were involved in it every week,
Swear.
every other day. Yeah, but he goes into a lot of stuff. Like he was really fascinating. He discusses multiple polymaths too, their lives and how they lived. There's this guy I can't. I always forget his first name, but his last name is Young. Like he was a mathematician. He was somewhat of a historian.
Okay.
He was an archaeologist. He was involved in deciphering, I think, they were deciphering the Rosetta Stone for hieroglyphics.
Wow.
Um, as much as you can believe of what they deciphered, anyways. But he was involved in that. Like he was involved in a whole lot of different
I'm
things.
getting conspiracy theorist
Actually, no,
vibes
no,
from
no.
you.
He was a I think he was a medical doctor first. He was a medical doctor first. Like he's involved in so many things that I don't even remember. Yes, I'm somewhat of a conspiracy theorist, depending on the issue. Depending on the issue at hand.
I mean,
Uh, depending on the issue at hand. Let me not put. Don't let me put my tinfoil hat on today. Let's not go into that. Let's not go into that
time is not
today.
time is definitely not enough for that.
But before we go too far, fun fact: did you know where the term conspiracy theories came from?
Oh, no, no, I didn't. Educate us.
Supposedly,
Yeah.
and I don't remember exactly, so don't quote me. Nobody come from my head here. Supposedly, it was a term that was coined by I think it wasn't the FBI. I think it was the CIA that coined that term, and
Yeah.
they used it as a way to basically throw mud on things that they didn't
Yeah.
want people to
Yes.
believe. They don't want people to believe something. Oh yeah,
I
that's a
actually knew
conspiracy
this.
theory,
Actually,
and it was
it's more like the fake news that we have today.
a
Like
kind of.
when you see a fact
There's a
and you
book
want
on it actually.
hmm?
Yeah, when you want to smear a fact, there's a book that was written on it. I've been planning to read this book for the longest time. I guess I need to get it on Audible because whenever I tell myself I'll read a physical book,
Uh,
it rarely ever goes well, honestly.
I think we've passed
But on
the age of
Audible,
this
it's so
topic.
easy when I'm driving at my work. So the book is called COINTELPRO, by the way. If you want to go read it or listen to it, I just
Okay.
wanted to throw that in there before we
I
actually
mean, our
go back
fans
to
could use that.
our
The fans, people listening could use that, so that's fine. But I'll also check it
yeah,
out.
yeah. All right. Yeah. I don't know why I've never looked for it on Audible. Maybe I did and I didn't find it. It would be so unlike me to not look for it there.
I mean, I was about to even
But
open an Audible account. There's this book I was looking for, The Richest Man in Babylon. I haven't read it till now.
oh,
Yeah,
wonderful book.
yeah. I
Amazing.
heard it's really good.
It'll change your life.
I heard it's
It'll
really
change your
good.
life.
Yeah, so that's what
Definitely go check it
I was
out.
about to open an Audible account now because I have so many like so much physical
Have
books.
you opened the account already?
No, no, I haven't.
Don't open it. I'll send you a link.
Okay,
It will let you listen to your first book for free.
nice,
And then you can open it from there.
nice, nice.
I'll send you a link for that book particularly. Just remind me. I have it in my library.
All right then. All right, that's cool.
Great book. Very great book.
All right then.
But yeah,
Let's head into the topic for the day. Music.
let's head into the topic. After 29 minutes, we're now heading into the topic. Wonderful. Amazing. You remember what I said when I said I was planning for 40 minutes and
I'm
then a half
assuming
like
they're
this
going to
thing.
be cut though. Aren't they going to be cut?
I mean, honestly, I don't really believe in cutting too much.
Okay.
Even when I was like doing video, even when I'm doing video for you, video sometimes you can't avoid it, especially when you want to put transitions and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But I like it to be more natural. I like it to be like
The authenticity.
authentic. Yeah, I like the authenticity. I don't like to cut too much out of it. I feel like you cut some of the. It's like my child. I never know what to cut. I was like, every time I want to cut something, it's like, well, that was kind of funny. Like I don't really want to cut that.
But
It's
you
so
know,
hard for me to
the
cut stuff.
problem with the problem
Something has
with
to be really bad for me to cut it.
I get you so much. But the problem is the attention span of viewers nowadays and the large body of content we have. You know, so you are like
Yeah,
someone told me that you always have to treat your content like the audience is drunk. Like you always have to
yeah.
treat your content like the audience is drunk. Like you know, and you know, like a drunk person, you can't explain. You can't be talking
That's an
too long to a drunk person.
it's
You have to catch. You have to catch your audience in the first 5 seconds, deliver your point, and
yeah,
get the fuck out of the way. So yeah, like so since then, I've always been wary of like, okay, what's the balance between being authentic, releasing as much as the original idea as much as possible, and keeping their attention span. And with YouTube especially, YouTube is the worst. YouTube is hyper competitive, and the video aspect of it just makes you like, okay, if I'm saying crap, I'm getting the fuck out of here, man. So can I curse here?
yeah.
This is a cursing podcast?
It's too late to ask now. But I think that's part of the authenticity. That's part of the authenticity.
So
It's too
yeah,
late. It's too late to ask me that.
it's crazy. It's a
But
crazy time to be a content creator right now, man. This
um, I kind of fall on. There are two interesting schools of thought on that I found. My own personal school of thought was like, okay, I don't want to cut stuff, but I want this video to be 40 minutes long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try my best to originally shoot the video to be 40 minutes long, even if I have to have the timer in front of myself.
okay.
So if let's say I cut a little bit of stuff here and there, maybe at the beginning or the end, then the
Mm-hmm,
video ends up being like 39 or 38 minutes,
mm-hmm,
and that's fine. It falls into my category. So I used to do that a lot with YouTube.
okay,
And it worked. It works. It works most of the time. Sometimes you get carried away and you go over.
okay.
Another thing idea I've got though, and I got this idea from Joe Rogan, who's one of my primary influences for starting this podcast.
I can tell.
Yeah, I've always liked podcasts for a long time, but like I was just like, podcasts really? Do people really listen to podcasts? I don't know. Like I like podcasts, I like audiobooks, but I don't know if I didn't know that people were that into podcasts. But Joe Rogan's like crazy rise showed me like, wow, like this isn't like a thing of the past. People
Mhm.
really
Podcast
still listen.
podcast has its loyal army, which I like. It has this loyal fan base. Cause I don't know, there's just something about you hearing just the voice of someone alone and the person is just
Yeah,
like the person is talking to you and you feel more
I don't want to
connected.
say it's intimate. That's kind of a weird word, but
Yeah,
yeah, but yeah,
that,
that's kind of what it is.
yeah, it's kind of what
It's kind of what it
it
is,
has this level.
especially for people that listen to audiobooks. Like
It has
it's
this level of
so natural. Yeah.
yes.
And oh, anyways, what I was going to say, the idea I got from Joe Rogan is, I don't know if he actually, I think he's the one that does this. Let me not speak out of my mouth or on the wrong side, but basically, he makes the full podcast, whatever, and they are long. Like, let me tell you, they're long. I've only ever finished like one of them. They're like 3.5 hours long.
Hmm.
So sometimes I have
I
to take a
checked out
break
the
and
one with
come back.
Kanye, and I was like, these two people are crazy.
Joe is
But
I love Joe, man. It's
even
like
as
that.
much
He's the
as I love
definition of somebody
Kanye,
that does not
I don't
close his mind.
I don't have 2 hours to listen to a podcast. Like, oh my goodness.
I didn't listen to the Kanye one, but so what he does is like, if you don't want to, if you're like most people, you don't want to listen to 3 hours of people
Mm-hmm,
talk, even though all the 3 hours usually are fun.
mm-hmm,
But I've never been able to actually finish one. I think just one. The only one I ever finished was the one with, I think it was Jordan Peterson.
hmm.
So there's another channel, I think there's a separate channel called JRE Clips,
Okay.
where they post cutouts
Yes. Yes.
of
Yes. Yes.
podcast. So you don't have to listen to the whole thing. So my idea was like, if and when I decide, okay, I'm gonna go off the rails and record a 2 hour episode, which I
You can
don't
always break it
think
down.
I'll ever do. Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll make a short version and I'll also upload the short version and give people the option to pick
Mm-hmm,
which one they want.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Instead of dictating to people like, hey, you must take 20 minutes, whether you like it or not, or you must take 1 hour. Let the customer choose which one they want, pretty
Honestly,
much.
honestly, that's good. I mean, it's part of the 48 laws of power. Like you give someone the illusion that they are making the choices. Meanwhile,
Freedom of choice.
everything is under your control. I like that. I like the mind games you're playing with your audience.
I mean, it's like on some level, mind games are really just simple logic in a way. Like sometimes when we're humans, we're trying to do stuff. We get so carried away with trying to do what we're trying to do that we just overcomplicate life. Like
I know, right?
instead of trying to figure out what's the average travel time. Okay, it's 38 minutes. So I'll make the podcast 30 and then I'll post it on Wednesdays so people can, because people sleep in longer on
Bro,
Instead of trying to do all
bro,
of that, you can literally just give people the option and let
bro,
them pick.
bro.
Like life can be simple sometimes, but we get so the higher you get sometimes in some things. That's why sometimes somebody that's a beginner or somebody with fresh eyes walks in and says, "Oh, that's simple. We can just do it that way." And you never thought about it because you're
I are
so
like
busy out here
bellissimo.
working out equations in your head and everything when it can really be simple. It can really be simple.
Man, may we never be old heads, man. May we never be old heads.
Most of us will. Most of us are getting there. Most of us are getting there.
I mean, I'm like, look at this guy now, Elon Musk. Like, I don't know how he does it. Like, it's still like at that stage, at that level, he still manages to like think outside the box. And I think this guy was also like that before he died, Steve Jobs. So yeah, I mean, there are people that find.
Hmm. He was creative, but he had his own boxes that he was stuck in.
I mean, yeah, yeah, but okay. Why do you say so? Why do you say so? Let me get why you say that though.
I'm not even gonna like pretend I know that many details about his life, but
But why is
he
it?
he
There should
was
be a reason why you are saying that.
he was a very stubborn man. Let me put it that way.
But
He was a
no,
very stubborn man.
that's
So
his
he had
character.
his own
I'm
boxes.
talking about the
He had
innovation
his
he
own
applied
boxes.
to its product. You get, like,
Do you know the story of how he left Apple the first time?
I watched both Steve Jobs movies. Like, I guess I have an idea
Oh,
of the
okay.
story.
I didn't even know there were Steve Jobs movies, but I heard about his story one time. I didn't know
And
there were
they're
Steve
really
Jobs
good,
movies.
both of them. One was by Michael Fassbender, the Magneto guy, and the other one was by Ashton.
Yeah,
And both of them
really.
really like they killed Steve Jobs. But what did you want to say?
Yeah, I was just saying, like, I read his story, and I'm not even going to pretend I remember the details, but I remember the way I felt after I read the story. Like, I just remember coming away like, this guy is one stubborn
No, he was a stubborn
individual.
motherfucker. It
Yeah,
was.
when I think of like an open mind, I'm thinking more of
But you're
someone like Joe
confusing
Rogan.
two things though. You're confusing the character of someone and then the application of what of the openness. Like, I think you're confusing two things because I feel like one can have an open mind but a stubborn attitude.
Yeah, yeah, but part of you can be creative
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
creative in one direction, and I feel like that was Steve Jobs.
What of
Like he
Kanye?
was like
What would you say of Kanye?
he had a Kanye's. Let's keep Kanye on the shelf.
Kanye is also
Let's keep
really
Kanye on the shelf
reasonable.
right now.
He's also
Like Steve Jobs had like a vision, like this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to do it,
and nothing is stopping
and,
us from
and
getting
that's
there.
it. This is how I don't care. This is how we're going to do it,
Mm-hmm.
and it worked. You had the vision to get it through,
But it
but
works
in a
every
way
time.
that is also closed mindedness. In a way that is, and that's the danger when people that are hyper successful like that
Mm-hmm.
and are so effective at doing what they do.
They
It's
become
hard
stuck in
not to
that.
get closed into one way of doing things because like you said he succeeded all the time. Like he would be like, okay, we're doing this, and they do it, and everybody goes and buys the iPhones anyways. He was successful, but you can't argue with his. I don't like iPhones for shit, like anybody knows, but
Are
I
you
admire Steve
serious?
Jobs. I admire Steve Jobs,
Oh,
and I admire
don't tell me
I
you're one
admire
of
the
those guys.
company.
Oh
I
my
admire the company
goodness.
that he helped build. Let's not get into that.
Ah,
This is not what we're here
forget
for. Let's not
it.
get into that.
It's almost it's 40 minutes is basically off, and we've
Let's
not
not get
talked
into
about
that.
it.
This is not what we're here for. This is not what we're here for. So let's leave the iPhone Android stuff. But let's not get into that. But I
Uh,
admire Steve Jobs a lot because of like the man's vision is you can't argue what he
who
achieved.
would you say is your greatest role model? Like, who would you say that their life really mirrors what the values you would like to put in your life?
The values I would like to put in my life. Okay, that last part you added makes it easier to answer this
Exactly,
question.
exactly. Because if you say role model, it becomes too general. Whose values would you want to apply most to your life?
I think my role model will surprise you.
Oh, Mugabe.
What? No, 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 no. Even though Mugabe has his
He has his qualities.
back
You'll
in
be
the day,
surprised.
he has his qualities.
You
He had his qualities,
to be
but
a dictator for that long, you need some level of wisdom.
more like brutality. Not
I,
necessarily. Well, I mean, you do need some kind of wisdom, I
you
suppose.
brutality has
But
never gained anyone. It has never put anyone
really,
ahead. It's wisdom because people can be
yes,
brutal.
it's
But
put a lot of
people
people ahead.
brutal.
It's put a lot of people ahead.
It's the ability
That's
to control brutal people that puts you ahead, actually, and not
true,
you being
true,
brutal yourself.
true,
There are so many
true. That's a good point.
There's so
That's
many
a good point.
dictators, so many rulers that could not even lift a sword, or were not the best
That's a
ever.
very good point, actually.
Mhm.
There's a lot to unpack in that one statement that you made there. There's a lot to unpack from that one statement
Ah,
that you made there.
okay, but let's
Like
go
a
back.
lot, a lot of people have the misconception that, like, for instance, in like a group of apes or something, that the alpha male is the one that's the strongest and the one that can beat all the other. But it's
Nope,
not really true.
nope,
The alpha male is the one that's able to string together the largest
yep,
social gathering and
yep,
control them,
yep.
basically.
Yes.
So there's a lot in that. But anyways, back to your question. When you asked who is my biggest role model,
Hmm.
I didn't really know how to answer the question, if I'm being honest. But when you said, okay, the person whose values I would like to put in my life or live my life with, one person just popped in my head instantly. I don't know if I went back and thought about this for 4 hours, I don't know if he's the one I
No,
would come
follow
up
your
with.
instinct. Follow your instinct.
But
Your
the one
instinct.
that popped in my head
Okay.
right now is Warren Buffett.
Whoa, good choice. Good,
That's the one that popped in my head right now.
good choice. Why
Like,
did
I
you
didn't know
say?
that much about him
Why did you say
till
it
I
surprised me?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not really into, like,
Finance.
I'm into finance a little bit, but I'm not really into, like, not really really knee deep into it. But I don't know. I decided to read well, listen. I need to keep saying listen. I don't want to give the impression I actually sat down and read the book physically, because I did not. It was an audiobook,
Okay.
but same difference, I guess. His book, Snowball, amazing, amazing book, amazing. It was about his life all the way from when he was a boy to when
I heard about the book.
to
It's crazy.
modern day.
It's crazy. I heard about.
I thought when I heard about the book, I thought it was going to be like about financial principles. Okay, this is what you should do this, do that, do this. But that's not really what it was. It's more like a biography or autobiography. Which is which? I always get those mixed up. I guess biography because he didn't write it himself.
Mhm.
Someone else wrote it. I think that's what a biography is, right?
Yeah.
I always get them mixed up.
No,
But yeah, I think that's correct.
more complex, but the person who wrote it from him saying it. So,
I think if you write it yourself, it's an autobiography
no,
because
no, 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 no.
auto.
If you
I think, right?
wait, Chill, let me explain that. Let me explain it a little. Um,
So let me explain it a little.
Look, because literature is kind of one of my fields. But the thing about
Oh yeah.
the thing about this biography thing is it's more complex because nowadays we have like this thing they call ghostwriters, like people that you are telling them the story and they are writing it as you are telling them, right? Hello.
Yeah. 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 I can hear you.
What a biography is supposed to be somebody independently writing the story, like somebody writing the story
Okay.
from researching you. You get like
Yeah.
there's no input from you. Autobiography is more like there's input from you. So even if you're the one writing it with your pen or you're telling somebody what to write, that it is still an autobiography because it's coming from you.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You get
Okay. That's
that's
an
where we mix
interesting
it up.
point.
That's where we mix
I think this was a bit of a mix. Like, the story was written by another person. She got a lot of input from him,
it.
but she also went on her own and did her own research and
Okay.
interviewed other
Okay.
people
Okay.
and all of that.
So basically,
So by that token, I guess you could call it a biography.
yeah, yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, it was very, very great book. It covered basically all of his life, and there's so many things about him I didn't even know. Like, This guy was a successful businessman as a teenager
Yep.
already. Like
Yep.
he was, it blew my mind. All the stuff I learned about him. But and he, I don't know, just the way he lived his life was, he had his own. The most interesting part is like you get to see more of his own shortcomings. Like he's by no means perfect at all. Like not even
I mean,
perfect at all.
who is at the end of the day?
Nobody is. But it surprised me to learn where the shortcomings were. Like it was surprising. I did not expect them, but it's interesting. But the way he lived his life financially, anyways, is what it's something I try to implement now.
I mean,
Definitely, like I don't.
one thing I'm really because finance is actually my field, and one thing I'm always considering is because I don't really care much for money. For example,
Mm.
I don't really care much for money. I know I want to have it to live a proper life, or to do things I want to do, but for money itself, I'm not really motivated by it. So when I hear stories of like, so people like Warren Buffett, for example, I I I I assume, I don't know. I assume that they have this intense. What's going on? It looks sad.
Nothing.
Am
I
I
just realized we're. I did not plan on going on this long, but let's
I
keep
was
going. Let's
going to
keep going.
tell you, because I'm looking at the time. I was like, "Are you?"
Yeah, it's not even the timer. It's like the actual time. I just realized. Oh wow, it's 7:30 already. Like
Okay, okay,
okay,
we'll wrap
but go on,
up.
go
We'll
on.
wrap up. Okay, so I was just thinking, like, does one have to possess that hunger for money before they apply that route of like, okay, being financially okay? I want to follow these rules of finance. I want to follow these rules of finance. Or do you just have to be good in whatever you are doing, and then the money flows after? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't think you have to be like money hungry in
Mhm.
order to be able to
That's
apply
the
those
perfect term.
to actually
But
accumulate it.
I
I
think
don't think
someone
you
like
have.
Warren Buffett is along that lines. Like he is intentionally looking for money. Like money was always his driving goal. Like even right from when he was a businessman at
Yes
I remember
and no.
I read the teenage story of when he started, and like, okay, how he would always save up some money. He would always invest as lit as once he got a little money, he would invest it in the next thing as soon as possible. Like I read
Yeah,
those things and I was like, does everyone have to have this mentality, this investing mentality? Do you understand what I'm saying?
I wouldn't say that Warren Buffett was money hungry. I wouldn't say that. I think for him, the acquisition of money was like a game. I think that's what it was. It wasn't
Yes,
for
he
the sake
enjoyed
of the
it.
money
Yes,
itself.
he
He
enjoyed
enjoyed
it.
it. He really enjoyed it.
It's
It's not
not
like,
the
oh wow, I need to get this money. It wasn't
it
really
wasn't the
like that.
end,
It was
it
like,
was the means.
yeah, for him it was like a game. It was like a real life game.
That makes sense. That
That's
makes
what it was for him, or it is anyways. That he had opportunities to make more money. He could be a lot richer than he is today, but
mm-hmm,
he didn't take some of those opportunities because it just didn't interest him. That those like especially in the with the dot com bubble, the early 2000s when Microsoft and others were
mm-hmm,
blowing up, he
mm-hmm.
could have made a lot more money than
Because he could have
he did.
easily
But
invested in them.
yeah, he had the opportunity, but he basically said like, I don't know that. I'm not really interested in that, so I'm not going to invest in it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
He had his own rules that he played by. So for him, it was kind of like a game. Even though yes, his ultimate goal was to amass more money, he had rules
mm-hmm. He has
and he
values.
played it like a game.
He had values, which is why I asked you that question, and I use the word values because I think where we as human beings get lost is when we just want to do whatever is whatever we seem deem fit at the moment, but we don't have like a value system we base it on.
Man, I was. It's not even what you were talking about. I was thinking of. I was thinking like, wow, what in God's name am I going to name this episode? I have no idea what I'm going to name this episode.
I'm so let's even wrap it up there because I'm so confused now at what I was
You know
coming
what
in
would be like?
with these specific topics in mind. We talked about like what we're going to talk about,
Yeah.
what we're going to argue about. we
You
just
know what we'll do? We'll
and
just
we
leave
come
this
to a
episode.
completely different direction. But I really enjoyed the conversation though.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. And that's for me, that's like that's what it's about. Like
Mm-hmm.
recording this for me was about it's
Enjoying the
fun.
process.
It's not about oh, let me put up stuff and get views. Even though that would be nice. Like I've always been like the kind of person like we'll just be talking about something and I end up ranting for like 2 hours. And that's fun. That's fun for me. Like, that's fun. People know like
Bro,
there are some
bro,
people that don't like stuff like that.
you know the
People like
funniest
that
thing?
avoid
You know
me
the
now.
funniest thing? For someone that has known you since when you were
What?
like 5 or 4, nothing has changed.
There are people that hate that stuff. Like we'll just be talking about something, and before you know it, I start talking about history. Before you know it, I start.
I love it.
There are
I
some
love
people that avoid me today because of that stuff. So for me, this is really about fun. It's not really about
Yep. Yep.
anything else. It's just
You know,
I just figure like I might as well put it somewhere instead of just letting it waste.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, we'll keep this episode as its own thing, and I guess maybe next weekend we'll record what we're actually supposed to talk about.
I'm down for that, man.
I hopefully stay on topic this time since
I'm
we're
down
getting a
for
lot
that,
of this
man.
stuff out of our system.
I'm down for that.
We'll talk about the music, we'll share music next time. And by then you would have listened to Davido's album,
Yes,
so we
it's a great time.
we can bring that in.
It's a great time to be a fan of Nigerian music, man. We have Davido's album out. We have Wizkid's album out. We have Olamide's album out. Man, it's a great time to be from this.
Oh, I didn't even know Alamide released one.
Are you
I
serious,
need to go
man?
check that
Carpe
one out.
Diem. You should check that out, man. Olamide's album is out.
Oh, I heard that.
Burna's album
I
out,
heard that.
and Timaya is dropping soon. Techno is dropping soon. Omale is dropping.
Oh
Like it's
wow.
crazy. It's a crazy time here. I'm wondering how the parties are going to be in December. But but then there's COVID, so that's a different matter for a different day. But but here it's like Nigerian music is really taking over, man, and I'm really happy about that. As for our views on one particular artist are better than and who is exceeding expectations and meeting up to it. We will address that on another day.
Okay, we'll leave that for
We'll
the
leave that
next
for
one.
another
When
day,
we
man, but I really,
I really want to hear what you think about Davido's album.
yeah, I'm gonna do a
But
reaction
we'll leave that
video to
for
that in the morning. Actually, I plan on doing a reaction
yeah.
video to that like live. I've not listened to it at all. But in the morning, I'm going to do something for my YouTube with my co-host Vlad, and we're going to record it in the morning, and you can check that out. But maybe when we meet officially for the podcast, I'm getting that are you inviting me for the next episode officially?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Next weekend, yes.
All right, I don't want to be forward.
Next weekend.
Okay, so maybe then we can now talk about like our reviews of like all these albums, compare the artists, and give audience what they actually want to hear, not this polymath and Greek mythology crap.
No, I mean like I mean don't let the podcast art fool you. Like it's yeah, I'm gonna talk about stuff like polymathy and but I'm not gonna attempt to box it into that. Like that's the shell and whatever falls inside basically. I'm not gonna attempt to
Which
restrict it too.
I think this even brings it back to my YouTube channel that I was talking about, like for cause for like even though we are a channel that really we talk about alcohol. We try to sensitize the people on alcohol and the ways to drink better, types of drinks they should drink on what particular occasion. I mean that's our shell, like you put it. But
Yeah.
really, we're trying to start conversations for a lot of stuff, which span from sexuality to religion to tradition. Like
Oh,
which
really?
is really what the short talk is about. Like start sparking up conversations and being honest about it. Which is why we're taking shots. Being honest about
That's the part I liked most. That's the part I like most. Like even if you didn't mean for it to go that way, when you're a little bit buzzed,
believe me,
things
believe
just
me,
take a different turn.
the end of
Things
every
take a different
episode is
turn.
always wild. Like
Imagine if we were tipsy doing this right now. Like that would be like he's already here, but that would have been something else. That would be something completely
we
different.
always start the episodes at this level, then we are ending the episode on a completely different level from which we started. So it's just crazy because like the process is really fun and interesting, and you guys should really check it out. If I can gain a few subscribers from me, I'm trying to meet my goal of 1K this
For sure, for sure. That's the idea. Plug yourself. Plug yourself. I mean, plug yourself in.
anywhere, man.
I don't know how many subscribers I have now, but we're hoping to get there.
Bro,
I
I was looking through your YouTube channel, and
think last time I checked, I had 2 subscribers on this
actually
one.
put a lot of work into it, man. I'm so amazed. I mean,
The
the subscribers come and go, the numbers come and go, but like, I mean, what I really appreciate is the work you put into it, which is good, and although is in a niche, the sports niche,
yeah,
which
not just the sports news, specifically EPL niche. Like
exactly,
that's
which has
it's smaller
really
than you think.
limited your audience reach. You understand? But at the same time, and many sports fans are not frankly like avid YouTube users. You get, and
Yeah,
even when they go on YouTube, they will want to like check with the big channels, the ESPNs of
yeah,
the world, the Super Sports of the world. Yeah, they want to like see what those guys are saying before they come back to down to the grassroots opinionated people. But even at that, I really like what you're doing. Like I saw a few episodes today, and I was like, this you really put into stuff. So like, I don't think you should favor your podcast because it seems like you're having so much fun here. I don't think
no, but they're both fun. Like that's the thing. Like
okay,
I can't bring myself to come and be recording on YouTube every week
okay,
if I'm not enjoying it.
okay,
I can't do it. That's just not how I am.
exactly.
I'm just not built
Which
that
is
way. I can't do it.
which is your value, man.
The,
You have
the,
to
the
enjoy the process.
yeah, the football YouTube one, it's fun too. It's very fun. It's very interesting
I
because
can
I
see.
do it anyways. I watch the games anyways. I play um, the
Premier
fantasy
League.
Premier League.
Oh my god, you need to
I do it
hook me up
anyway.
to your league. You need to hook me up to the
Yeah, I'll let you know. I do it anyway, so it's not that different. Like the whole idea behind it, it was just like this.
Mhm.
It's like, bro, we already argue about this Arsenal and Man U every
Yeah, I
weekend.
could get
So
that
what's
vibe.
the difference if you
Mhm.
just put a camera in front of? There's no
You know,
difference. The only difference is you're putting a camera in front of
should I
yourself.
give you a fun fact? Should I give you a fun fact?
Don't say you're a Man U fan.
No, 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 not I'm a Man U fan. I'm a Chelsea
Oh,
fan. You're an Arsenal fan, right?
yeah.
Ah, God.
Oh, you go
What?
okay. Your dad a Chelsea fan. Is that where you got it from?
No, 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 no. Don't be like that, though. Don't be like that. I got it from watching Chelsea back in '04, Mourinho Chelsea, and that was like, can you remember that team that considered like 11 goals that season and that value defense, man. So like those principles are
Oh yeah,
even though we are an attacking team today. I mean, the best attacking team in the league currently, but our roots are
bro.
still
It's just
there.
it's just 8 games into the league, man.
Oh,
It's
don't
eight
hate,
games into
man.
the
Don't hate.
season. Calm down,
When is
calm down,
Arsenal 8 games into the league?
calm down, calm down. The league is who is
Did
on
you
top of the table now?
did you
Southampton are
did
like
you see how
second on the table
Aston
now.
Villa diced you last weekend?
Aston Villa also beat Liverpool seven
Oh,
two.
okay.
So
Tell yourself that
no
to sleep
shame,
well at
no
night.
shame,
All right.
no shame.
But yeah, let me just give you a fun fact. The fun fact is I actually started in my first foray into content creation was podcasting. Yeah. And
Okay,
it was specifically football podcasting. Like
that's a niche of niches.
was specifically football podcasting, specifically to cover the World Cup of 2 years, the last World Cup. So I covered the World Cup from group stage down to finals. Like so that was my first this thing into sports podcasting. So the fact that you're doing a YouTube show on sports and also back to pod. I'm not more on the podcasting scene because that time
Yeah,
it really drained me. I was the one editor, like I did everything from beginning to end myself. You get and but I learned some values from it which I'm still using till today in my YouTube page. So it wasn't completely
yeah, that's a great part. Like, you don't lose those skills.
Like I learned how to like use Audacity or edit my sound and record. I mean, there's a lot of things I learned: time management, researching and stuff. But like, it's just funny how that was what I started with, and this is where I am now. And then the fact that you're also doing sports and YouTube and like it's just like an internet. I don't know if you get what I mean. Like
Like we just traded places. Don't you?
exactly.
more or
Different
less.
places and mix it up. But sports are really fun, man. And I like the loyal nature of sports fans, basically. Like, even though they might be limited, but the few people that listen to me, I can remember that time I had an audience base of around um 30 to 50 people, and after each episode they will come back and like argue with me on
Yeah.
on every little, like, nitpick every with my poor sound. Then they will nitpick every little thing I said, and then I can't even listen to them now. That's how bad they are. They are terrible. Like, I cringe when I'm listening to them now. But if
You should go and look at Joe Rogan's first episode. Like when I was about to start this, I was doing a lot of research, especially on his channel. I was like, okay, let me go see what did Joe Rogan look like when he started. Apparently, it was like back in 2013. And after watching that first episode, I
yeah,
was like, the feeling I was left with is, wow, I can't kill myself, man. Like, look at me trying to be
honestly,
perfect and everything. Like, I'm trying to perfect everything. I look at Joe Rogan's first episode.
check out some of these YouTubers, their first episode, and you'll be like, "What? This is this is where they came from, and this is who." So, like, I feel like we beat ourselves down too much when we are starting stuff, especially in our generation.
Yeah,
Like, we beat ourselves down a lot, and you're like, you start stuff and you give up. You start stuff and you give up. Next thing, you're on to the next.
yeah,
You're looking for that thing that immediately pops. You get, which is actually wrong.
yeah,
You're supposed to go through the process and then come out of it on the other side, and then all the success comes after. The major thing is, as long as you enjoy what you're doing, I guess, which is the value
yeah.
I think all of us should apply. Like, you should really enjoy your process so that work becomes fun, basically.
Yeah, for me, the major thing starting this was like naturally the way I think is like before I start something, I want to envision all of it. Like this is how it's gonna look, this is where this is gonna go, this is where that's gonna go, this is and very often it's like a handicap.
It
Like when I was
is.
starting this, it just
I'm happy
seemed
you said
so
that.
big. Like when I'll be looking at like I'll be looking at
The
tutorials
tiny
on like how to
details.
do it. Everything just seems so
Yes.
big. Like at some point I just had to shut off my brain and I just told myself, okay, I'll do this first. I'll find a hosting service first. I'll do that. I won't do anything again until next week. I'll go and find the
Mm-hmm.
mic. I'll do that.
Mm-hmm.
The week after, I'll test the mic. Like I was just doing it like one
Mm-hmm.
foot
Bro,
at a time. That's how I
you just have
finally got here.
you just have to, like, go out and do it. Like, stop the over analysis, stop the
Yeah,
thinking. You just have to go out and do shit. Like, I was also watching another video on YouTube on this, like, making ideas come to life, and they were like, the only difference between you and a successful entrepreneur, you don't have it, you guys have the same level of smart ideas. The only difference between you and the successful entrepreneur is that they went out and did shit, and you're just
yeah.
thinking about, like, smart shit every day. But they actually went out and did the smart shit. They probably failed a couple of times, but
Not probably. They
they
definitely failed a
definitely
couple
failed
of
a
times.
couple of times. I mean, some people get lucky.
Yeah.
Some people strike oil on their first try, so don't assume.
Yeah, I
But yeah,
mean, that's very rare. Like
yeah,
that's
it's very, very
ridiculously
rare,
rare.
very rare. Like, so yeah, so like the
Man,
only difference between you and someone that's successful in whatever they're doing, like, they went out to do it. So, man, like, you just have to do shit and stop the over analysis, the analysis paralysis, and all of that
yeah.
like get stuff from getting. But I think we've spent past our time, man. I don't want to
Yeah,
give you
yeah.
too
So
much
let's
to explain.
this has been nice. This has been nice. So we'll I don't know. I'll come up with a name for this. You can help me suggest names
I mean, I think
for this
when you
episode.
listen back, it will give you some inspirations, because you'll see. Because now I'm just
I know that's what I'm planning to do.
like,
That's my
so
plan.
when you listen back,
That's my
tell me
plan.
the vibe you get from it, and then we'll decide on the name.
All right, no problem, no problem. Any do you want to hook in any plugs
No, no
for
other.
your show
I
before
feel
we head
like
out?
I talk too much about my channel.
Nah, there's no such thing. No such thing. You should be shameless about plugging yourself in.
I know, right? I'm learning that every day, man. I'm learning
Be
that
shameless.
every day. Mm.
Yeah.
I think
But anyway, let me put my own plug in. Like we started out on Spotify, YouTube, got it on Amazon Music. Google Play is being stubborn for some reason, but I got it on finally got it on Apple Music, Apple Podcasts. Apple really dealt with me on that one. Like I had to create a new Apple ID because apparently the one I had how many years ago was no longer valid.
that's what happens.
I had to have
That's what happens when you hate on.
I don't- I know, man. I don't know for them, but I had to have somebody sign into their Apple device with my Apple ID in order for me to be able to upload this
Oh,
podcast on Apple Podcasts. Like it's not like I did it from their phone.
okay.
They just wanted my ID to be on an Apple device first before I was able to do that.
Wow.
I don't know why, but that's
The
interesting.
output.
So yeah, so Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts. I think that's it. That's it for now. Anyways, that's it. That should be enough for most people. I mean, come on, come on. Unless you live on that rock,
What of
that should be
Anchor
enough
though?
for you.
What of Anchor?
I'm still trying to figure out the whole Anchor thing. I remember we were talking about it earlier. Like Anchor seems to me like its own thing.
Like you have to
There's
record.
like two other niche podcast services where I have this podcast on. I don't even remember their names, but my hosting service Castos allows me to post directly on those. So I just said whatever and I put them anyways. But I guess I'll figure out their names and tell you guys next time.
Alright.
I'll look at the Anchor stuff too. I'm still trying to figure out. I mean I don't know. I don't even know if they're. I'll look into how many people are using Anchor and decide if I want to put it there or not.
Okay, okay. No,
It's not like it could hurt
I think
anyways.
once you have Apple and Spotify, then you're good, man. I mean, what else? What else are you looking for? Get Apple or Spotify, guys.
I wanted to put YouTube. But YouTube was important. I wanted to get on
Yeah,
YouTube for
YouTube.
sure.
So would you
Yeah,
would you
it's on YouTube. It's on YouTube now.
okay, okay. Why is it on YouTube? Is it its own channel or is it linked to your current channel?
It's its own channel. I created a channel.
Same name, the Aspiring Polymath.
Same name, the
Perfect.
Aspiring
Perfect. I
Polymath.
think
Yeah,
YouTube is my
yeah,
go-to then. I think you,
yeah. Because I know a lot of people, even me personally, I'd prefer to listen to stuff like this on YouTube.
YouTube is pretty convenient though. Like
Yeah,
everything is convenient. So yeah. But
definitely. But yeah, this has been great. We'll record another one next week, maybe Friday or Saturday. Let me know.
I'm
Let
down,
me know
my
which one
nigga. I'm
works for
down.
you.
I'm down. Anything.
Yeah,
Nice catching.
and we might maybe I'm thinking we'll include one or two other people on that music one. Maybe it's a good thing. It's a good thing today played out the way it
Yeah,
did. So next we can include more people on that one.
exactly.
Like I have another friend who has his own podcast. I sent you his stuff. Remember the guy whose stuff I sent you? His podcast is called From Lagos with Love,
Okay.
and they talked about the
Oh, that guy that
he who shall
let's
not
not
be
go
named.
there. Let's not go there.
Let me know. No, no,
No.
he wasn't the one that said that stuff that you thought. He wasn't the one that said it. There's multiple people. There are more people talking. I think there were like three people
Okay.
that go on this podcast at any one time. So he's the one that started
Okay.
the video or the audio, whatever. And when he was done talking, another guy started talking. It was that guy that said
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
finished.
yeah.
He wasn't the one that said it. It was the other guy that I don't know who the other guy is. It was the other guy that said that.
Give the fans some context. Somebody said whiskey is finished. Can you?
Nah, I didn't want to go into all that. Let's not go into all that right now. We'll
Somebody
save that for the
said
next.
the whiskey is
For,
finished. Please
we'll save that for the
bring
next
your
one.
guy on the next episode and let's talk about
We'll save that to the
as
next
if
one.
possible.
Again, I just want to clarify. He's not the one that said whiskey is finished. In fact, he clearly said, "I will not say he's finished." He clearly said that. Then the other guy was like, "No, he's
Then
finished."
let him come
That's what led to the other guy saying it.
behalf of the other guy.
But yeah, I mean, I'll extend an invitation to him, and if he's free, we'll hook it up. But we'll definitely have another, at least one more person
Yeah, and if
on
you
the
can
next
get a
one.
lady too here, I mean, I'm a fan of diversity. I don't know.
If I can get what?
I can get a lady on here, man. I'm a fan of diversity.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure, for sure. We'll see about that. We'll see. I was actually supposed to record an episode with my friend Kiyosha. She's a musician. I was supposed to record an episode with her during the week, but we haven't gotten around to that yet. She's not Nigerian, so I don't know how much she knows about whiskey. So I don't know if she'd be the ideal person for that one. But maybe just for the topic of music in general, I'll just get her on,
Okay, okay.
and yeah, we'll hash that one out next week.
All right.
But yeah, thanks for coming on. It's you guys don't know, but it's like 2:49 a.m. in Lagos right now. He's up here recording an episode with me.
For content, bro.
On Saturday morning. That's how you do it. Doesn't have a life, but it's okay. I appreciate it.
All
But yeah, I'll catch you later, man. Let's
right, man. Cheers, man.